Hi everybody, it's Julianne Lee from Adored Beast Apothecary, and I want to talk to you guys today about something that's near and dear to my heart, something that is rampant in dogs particularly, and that's skin disease or allergies, or you really can classify them even as autoimmune. And I know that everybody wants to know what it is, but historically what has happened in my practice and 20 years of seeing this stuff is that people get their heads so focused into finding out what the actual problem is rather than trying to work with the animal at its core level. And I saw my share of animals that had been on every single thing: allergy shots, ketoconazole, steroids, diets, prescription diets, getting a little bit better, then getting worse, then getting a little bit better, and then getting way worse. And a lot of times in the first 10 years of my practice, I was a last ditch attempt where they had tried everything and nothing was working. So I'm not here to be flippant and go, does it really matter? That's so not what I'm saying. If you're going to use drugs, it absolutely matters. If you've decided that you're not going to use drugs, or you have used drugs and it hasn't worked, and now what you're going to do is try an approach of just getting your dog healthier, then it doesn't matter as much, because at the end of the day, the symptomatology of your animal can be addressed by balancing them out. What can happen, and sometimes what the difference is if it's an allergy, it is a reactivity, or the body has been put into a state of alert and created an antibody to something that should be passive, like chicken. So chicken should not be a reactive component in an animal's diet or in an animal's body, but it becomes so because something has triggered your dog or your cat to create a situation where it's gone into an alert state and hasn't shut off because it's been gone into a forced alert state, almost like a motion detector where it's just constantly going off and then creating more and more reactivity. Dr. Jean Dodds has done amazing research on the difference between allergies and skin disease, or allergies and reactivity. But really what matters is just getting your animal healed. So there are times when it is really helpful to know if the animal is reactive to particular proteins, so that you can remove that while you're working on your dog or your cat. There's things that can create allergies or skin disease or reactivity, but at the end of the day, there's a systemic inflammatory response happening, and whether it's the body attacking itself or whether it's a chronic inflammatory response through the gut that's creating all constant reactivity, whether it's been from an over-vaccination, whether it's from yeast because of too many antibiotics, whether it's because of poor diet or nutrition, or because it's from lack of sex hormones. There are a million things that I'm going to do more videos on with the specifics. But today, really in this video, what I want to talk to you about is trying to discern or make a decision on how far you want to go down that attachment to what it actually is, compared to how are we going to balance the body out. And that's the approach that has worked the best in my practice, because science is amazing. I'm not disregarding science at all, but at the end of the day, what really matters is your animal getting better, or isn't it getting better? Is it resolving and then getting worse again? So I think to have to know for sure whether it's allergies, whether it's straight skin disease, whether it's an autoimmune, is sort of a moot point, because when you treat the dog, or when you approach your dog or cat from a holistic perspective, you're going to take all of that into consideration. You're going to take in the reactivity. You're going to take in to making sure that the gut is supported. You're going to make sure that it's getting its nutritional values to support healing. you're going to try and support the sex hormones as much as you can, or maybe not spay and neuter as young as you might do unless you're educated. So I know this is a little bit of a teaser of a video, and what I'm trying to do with you guys is just get you to start thinking about whether you want to actually diagnose your animal with an allergy, or diagnose it with an autoimmune disease, or diagnose it with a skin nutritional deficiency, or diagnose it with anything, instead of just really calming down, breathing, focusing, and treating the entirety, so that the entire body becomes in balance, so that the healing can happen no matter what the diagnosis is.